but you got to look at the numbers. So I went through all the scores, added them up, and came up with impact points.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see the different ways you can evaluate numbers. Here's the Math-nerdery. Different way you can look at numbers. So I'm not even looking at their routines.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to season 2 of Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan, the Olympic special. I am your host, Bridget Sloan, and I will be joined each episode by the one and only, the legend herself, Miss Kathy Johnson-Clark, and we will be talking all things elite gymnastics, all the competitions leading up to and during the Olympic Games. Now, for today's episode, we are taking a look at the individual athletes that will be competing at Olympic trials right around the corner. We are talking men's and women's on this episode, and Kathy Johnson-Clark may or may not be introducing a new point system that she came up with. So let's get into it. Kathy, we are back for another amazing episode. We have a lot, and I can't really stress that enough, but we have a lot to go over because a week from today, Olympic trials the athletes will absolutely be there, and they will be getting ready to start. June 27th, Olympic trials start, and there's just a lot to go over. And for those listening that have been listening, Kathy not only made color-coded notes again, she sent them to us, and I have to tell you, they're beautiful. They are stunning. Kathy, you outdid yourself.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Just a little OCD goes a long way. Yeah, no, and not just color-coded notes, but also I kind of created my own point system. Something I was interested in because I wanted different ways of evaluating or assessing the gymnastics by the numbers. So we're going to dive into gym-nerdery and math-nerdery. I'm sorry, those are my two words with this.
Two worlds colliding that I never thought I would be part of, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Well, Kathy, Olympic trials, and you and I have talked about this so many times, just in general, it's a different experience. It's a different type of pressure. It's just the vibes are different. It's hard to almost explain like what Olympic trials is like because there is a lot of pressure on the line, but at the same time, I think we are going to be seeing gymnasts take that next step, whether it's raising the difficulty in a routine, whether it's doing these skills that, you and I talked earlier. What do they have to lose?
No, this is the word is peak. So we are at the peak of the mountain. They have been climbing from whenever their journey began, with even going all the way back to when they first started dreaming of
absolutely
making an Olympic team, qualifying to Olympic trials, all of that. This goes all the way back to those little girl dreams, little boy dreams. So now everything has to peak, and they know everything has to peak. Their physical readiness, their gymnastics, the quality and the quantity, like what they're willing to throw, that risk reward equation, and it should be an equal equation. Like you really want it to get to that point where you're going to do as much as you're capable of, but doing it as perfectly and consistently under pressure. So we are at that peak moment for all of them. And it's so exciting. And this is what I want to stress to everybody. All of these gymnasts have bought into this. They're not being put in a situation that is too stressful, too pressure ridden, because it does have all of those, but they have prepared themselves for this. They have prepared their gymnastics and their minds, their bodies, their spirits, their emotions, to manage the risk that it is and the emotion that the Olympic trials will be. And you will see it when they announce that team.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see all that emotion. So keep that in mind. They are ready for this.
Wow. You make me feel like I can get out there and compete, Kathy. I'm ready for this too. But I want to kind of dive into, I was looking at the list. We know the list of athletes that are going to be competing. I think there is a really nice and amazing, beautiful mix of athletes who this is going to be their very first time stepping foot in an Olympic trial setting. This is, I mean, it's so kind of cool to look at the list of athletes and just say, wow, you have returning veterans that have the experience.
Mhm.
They pretty much have it all. And then you have some brand new athletes that it's like, this is your moment. Take it all in. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's the beautiful thing about really any gymnastics meet that I feel like in elite these days, you always see it's like a beautiful combination of athletes who have been around a little bit longer, have a little bit more experience, and then these newbies that you see the joy, you see the love, and they are just so excited to be there.
Yeah.
Um, so again, to go over, you have these amazing notes. And I want you to be able to go over these notes with all of our listeners because I think this is a really awesome, it's a great opportunity to provide not only information, but allow them to understand maybe a little bit about what they might expect to see and also just how your brain works because we all want
Oh,
to know how that works.
I don't know if we want to go there, but we will. And one thing before I dive into the notes and each of the individuals and what we want to highlight, what
Mhm,
we hope to see from them. And by when I say what we hope to see,
mhm.
this is what they're preparing for because they know.
Right.
That's what I've said. They bought in. They know where their value is to this team, how they can make this team, or
Mhm.
put up their best shot to make this team. So, but you
Totally.
reminded me of 1984, our Olympic trials. Here's why. I know, taking you all the way back, because we boycotted in 1980. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Right.
half of our team had made that team and didn't get to compete. That changed the dynamics and the landscape
For
leading
sure.
up to 84, where we have the same, but for different reasons, the same
Mhm.
dynamic where you've got gymnasts who have made Olympic teams, won Olympic medals, Olympic champions, okay,
Mhm.
trying to make this Olympic team. Then you have those who just missed or they
Yeah.
were alternates, reserves for the last Olympic. They know that emotion, they know that feeling. And then you have those who are just, this is brand new. I mean, they're going to their first trials and it's like, what do I have to lose? Let's go. All of these dynamics playing into this big pot. I mean, what
Mhm.
an incredible soup we are making. It's going to be so tasty. Let me tell you. So let's dive into the numbers. All right.
Yes.
And dive into the gymnast. Let's start with Simone because
Mhm.
Simone, okay,
Yeah.
notes that I took. All she has to do right now is continue to be Simone. She can be
Yeah.
Simonely, the way that only
Mhm.
Simone
Oh,
can
I
be.
like that. I like that.
Oh, yeah, you like Simonely?
I
Um,
do.
so go through her events. Vault, it's a moonshot times two.
Yeah.
Seriously. Both her vaults are like crazy and they're so well prepared.
Mhm.
She goes to bars. So she's continuing to clean up her bar routine and she wants to continue to clean up that bar routine.
Right.
Okay. That's an important thing. Is it critical? No, because she's got
Right.
enough difficulty and good execution,
Right.
damn fine dismount.
Oh
And
my gosh, yeah.
oh, that's like superb.
Right.
So she's in that mix. But the ones you're looking at that are going to go in that top three in the team finals, when you have Shilese,
Mhm.
she's now scored the highest bar routine so far.
Right.
Then you've got Suni, who's going to upgrade. And if she makes any of those connections, she's Suni. Okay.
Mhm.
Jordan, Sky, Kate, look at the bar workers there.
Yeah.
So Simone is just on her own mission to improve her gymnastics and cleaning up form and execution on bars is one of them. Her
Mhm.
confident pace and the way she hits positions and finishes skills on beam, that is just crazy good. Her pace
Mhm.
is like bam, 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 bam. She doesn't give her mind a split second to doubt. That's what she doesn't rush though. She's not
No.
rushing.
I agree. I think Simone's bars and beam have improved the most, not just in technique and adding difficulty, yes, but the way she goes into autopilot.
Mm,
I mean, you in from a I don't want to say from a viewer, I'm not just a viewer. As someone who's been in it, who understands what that kind of autopilot feeling is, that is the best feeling. When
yeah.
you can turn your brain off and your body just knows what to do. And I genuinely feel like we're seeing more of that kind of across the board for athletes. But Simone has mastered that art
Yes.
of not only just trusting herself,
Mhm.
finding that confidence,
Mhm.
and just going for it every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And the cool thing for her, and this is, I mean, let's just say it, because she has such a high D score,
Mhm.
she can take those risks because
Yeah.
she can make a little mistake and
Right.
still win. On some events, she can still fall and still win. Okay, that's kind of crazy, but that
Mhm.
is the reality of the situation. So now let's go to Shilese. And there are two people that I put in this same kind of boat who are coming into this competition, the Olympic trials,
Mhm.
with sort of a, I don't want to say a blank slate because it's not blank. We
Right.
saw Shilese at Core Classics. Okay. Phenomenal at Core
Mhm.
Classics. She made her statement there, what she's capable of, that she is perhaps
Right.
the number two all arounder right behind Simone. So she's
Mhm.
shown that, but then couldn't compete because of the shoulder. I don't want to speculate.
Right.
Okay. That's putting the cart way before the horse to
Mhm.
speculate if it's affected her training, whether it's physical training or mental. We have to just sit back and let her do her thing. But this is an
Mhm.
opportunity for her to re-secure
Yeah.
that impression, that feeling that everybody had. I think I can speak for everybody, that
Mhm.
she had really put herself in that kind of number two all around spot with others coming up.
Yeah.
And that brings us to Sky at
Mhm.
US Championships. Oh my goodness. So, what a statement. She had a fantastic all around competition
Yep.
there. And she separated herself.
Yeah. I would
She
agree to that.
So she separated herself. She's put her in that top two or three conversation in terms of all around performer. She can go on any
Mhm.
event in the team finals. Okay. Most important, landed that upgraded vault.
That was huge. That was huge. Yeah.
That is huge. So if she repeats that and she goes out there and just builds on the confidence, then she can do it. Her bars, very, very usable. Okay.
Mhm.
Particularly in prelims, because we have to think of both of those.
Oh, yeah.
Preliminaries, because you got to qualify, while they're keeping in mind, by the way, this is always in the, you got to understand the layers, the levels.
Yeah.
Priority team. That
Of
is
course. Right.
everybody's top priority, is winning that team gold medal because we're capable of it. So you have to build a routine for that. You have to have 5 gymnasts
Mhm.
to put up 4 on each event, to count 3 scores in preliminaries to qualify. And then you need the top
Right.
3 on each event. So you start looking at those routines, but most important, the numbers, the numbers. And depending on what Suni does, okay, then Sky and Kayla, okay, I'm going to start easing those in. They come into that conversation.
Mhm.
Where Sky also helped herself was balance beam.
She
Where,
looked so confident.
yes,
So confident up there.
yes, and in pressure situation. So
Mhm.
that's what they're going to see at Olympic trials. How do the ones who are vying for that beam slot, whether
Mhm.
it's in their all around or 2 events, or we need a Teflon coated, diamond studded beast, 3 of them up on beam. Okay. And we've got
Yep.
them, but they have to sort of prove it. Floor is definitely usable for Sky as well. But there are a lot of other strong floor workers in the mix, but it depends on how they do. So now,
Right.
Kayla. So Kayla had a phenomenal USA Championships,
Mhm.
except the fall on bars. So,
Which in her defense, I'm gonna say, I mean, Kayla is an outstanding athlete. I'm telling you right now, she knew as soon as she let go,
yeah,
uh-oh.
yes,
That was a very, very uncharacteristic mistake, and
I,
especially her improvement
yeah,
from core classic to championships. I mean, that again, we're gonna say this a lot, but that was a statement. That was a statement of,
yeah.
I might have had a rocky meet here. Don't worry, I went back to I know I'm capable of more. That's what
Yes,
that told me.
yes, I completely agree with you on that.
Mhm.
And So, but she knows, this is what I meant by these athletes have bought into this pressure situation. She knows, just like I knew when I put crazy pressure on myself, missing compulsory bar, like insane amount of pressure. But this is what you sign up for. You recognize that you're going to have to deal with that. And you're going to have to prove yourself in that situation. And when you embrace it and say, I got this, I'm going to prove that was the fluke. This is the normal. And go out and do that here at trials. Suni Lee. So she stepped up big time in the nick of time. And she's still on the rise. So the one tricky part, it is vault. And it's not because I fear, is she going to hit that vault again or whatever? It's
right.
Because her double twist is back, very definitely. They don't need that vault. They don't need that vault. Suni wants that vault. Suni wants the all-around. Suni wants to have a shot at defending an Olympic all-around title. Who wouldn't?
Right.
That's not like, it's not on everybody else's mind. But it's also, she wants to prove that she's not vulnerable there, that she's this and can do it. You also don't want a safety thing. Like you don't want to risk just a weird landing
for sure.
Those are on bars and beam. I'm sure all of this, they have to balance that out as well. And when we get to bars and beam, I don't know what Suni's spirit animal is, but it can swing bars and it can work beam like a unicorn. I'm just telling you,
it could be a unicorn, honestly. You might be onto something because she's magic on bars and beam. I mean, she is.
And you can't ignore that because those are your potential gold medals on those events. And it's not unimportant. Okay.
Right.
It may be the second or third priority on that list, but it is still part of it and part of their whole process.
Right.
Now, Jordan Childs. So, and the few I put in the same, just based on, and I know you're dying for me to bring up my point system.
I am.
I know you are dying. So, because I'm getting to that now, why I created the point system. So Jordan, Jade, and Jocelyn, those were the three gymnasts that had better day 2 competition. Okay, at championships.
Right.
Not having a great meet on day 1, that affected their final placement all around and in events that are important in terms of their value to team selection. So, but that shows an upside for them at trials. Okay. Kayla had that fall off bars on day 2. Hesley, I also noticed. So she was a wonderful surprise.
Right.
And exactly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Also, so I don't know if anybody dove into this, but so day 1, she had 2 strong events. The other 2 weren't there. And then they flip-flopped. What if you put those 4 together?
Put those together?
Okay. So my point system and why the color coding came into effect, because I'm sure when you first looked at it, it's like, what is this green, pink, and yellow? And it's pretty for one. But so I went through all the scores, first through third, and I gave first, if they were first in the all-around or first on an event, that's 10 points. Second, 9 points. Third, 8 points. Then 4th through 6th, that's 7, 6, 5. And then 7th through 9th, 4, 3, and 2. And then I even added a gray, which was a usable or their all-around score. So like a bonus thing where it's 1 point. If this is a usable routine, it may not have been in the top 3, but it was definitely in the 5 or a usable. So then I went through all their scores, added them up, and came up with impact points because I wanted to see the different ways you can evaluate numbers. Here's the Math-nerdery. Different way you can look at numbers. So I'm not even looking at their routines. Like we know gymnastics. You and I know gymnastics, and I can sit there, forget the scoring, forget the code of points, forget all of that. I can just the routine, the quality, the difficult, all of that all at once. But you got to look at the numbers because the numbers is what matters. And so the impact points And what it ends up, for those of you who are wondering, so Simone Biles had a 48 on my point system, impact points. So I added that up, top all around on the top vault bar. I mean, all 4 events. Okay. She won all 4 events at nationals, by the way.
yeah.
If you're forgetting that. So
I don't
48
think
points.
anybody could forget that, Kathy.
No, only shout out to Dominique Dawes, who did it before. Impact score of 48. Charlize Jones, I took her core classic numbers and by comparison put them up there. 38 points, impact points. And Sky Blakely, 37, right in there. And this means, are they in the top 3? On how many events are they in the top 3 and in all around for those usable routines or impact? Kayla DiCello, 35. Okay. So pretty good. Like those 38, 37, 35 in terms of just numbers, looking at them in their slots on each event.
Right.
They're right in the mix. Suni Lee, and this is just current. I got 26, but then I put in parentheses 30 because there were some like when she hit, this put her here. So there's a upside. There is more available to Suni.
Gotcha.
And that's Suni, however she does. Jordan Childs, right in 29. Okay, so she's still in the mix and still has some things in her control. Hesley Rivera, 20. Jade Carey. So we haven't got to Jade. 15. And everybody knows when you hear Jade Carey, what do you think? What do you think?
What do I think? I mean, I think vault and floor. Like I do when, and I don't love that I think that because I know she's so much more than just her power events. She absolutely is. But I have really loved watching her improve her floor specifically. She is a completely different athlete in my eyes than what she was 4 years ago. And I think college played a little bit of role in that. I think just being in that team atmosphere. I think that definitely played into just her confidence levels being up and just the cleaning up that she did with her technique with just it was like really, I felt like she was doing such difficult gymnastics, but was giving so much away.
Oh yeah. And not filling out her dance. So let me give a shout out right here because this is the difference maker for Jade on floor. Yes, competing every weekend in college and trying to clean up those things. Tanya Service Chaplin. Just going to say it. So if anybody who wants to see a beautiful, beautiful floor routine that she competed internationally and at UCLA in her collegiate days, pull up Tanya's service. Just do yourself a favor. Pull up Tanya's service. Look at her floor routine. I even sent her a message. I said, I would love when Jade comes back to college to do your old routine, one of your routines. And it was one of Val Condosfield's routines, but it was one of those like, and Tanya goes, ooh, baby steps. Okay, there's a lot of dance, and not just the leaps and jumps. I'm telling you choreography and dance. So this is what I love that Tanya has done for Jade's gymnastics and bringing out more of more artistry, improving artistry, but also a little more feeling in her dance so that she's connecting with the music and the audience, and that can get even better. That said, here's what will make the difference for Jade. If she does upgrade on floor, because when you look at Jade's score, she's in the yellow right now on floor with my point system. And I can't change that. That's not an opinion. That's not a thought process. That is the numbers. And I'm looking at her D and her E scores. So she can improve on that E score, but you know where she can improve massively? Once she upgrades her floor. I mean, that's how she won floor at the Olympics. Her tumbling was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's see what she does there, because you're right, with her vault and her floor, not only is she usable, she comes in as an Olympic champion.
Right.
Obviously, that comes with some clout. The experience, the team, they're all like, it's all a bonus. It's a positive. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky path there, not because of what she's doing, because she's doing great,
Mhm.
but everybody else is doing too. So, and then who I would also, Leanne Wong actually gets 17 impact points, and that's not having a great meet
Right.
championship. She had some moments, and because we know what she's capable of, if she goes out
Mhm.
there and does that at trials, everybody knows how reliable she is in every single event to be able to jump. She showed that at Worlds.
Right.
Okay. But she has to do it in this competition. And then Tiana got 11 impact points, Jocelyn 11, based on her floor. Really, she was one of only 3 gymnasts, maybe 4 that got a 14 on
Mhm.
floor. One time, like, you can't overlook that. That's a
Right.
huge number. That's a huge number. But it's one event. And then vault, because there are other vaulters, especially with Sky having upgraded, Shiley's being so clean on vault, and Kayla, like, they're all strong on vault. They're strong enough
Mhm.
to double twist, nice and clean. And
Right.
Jordan. So let's talk about Jordan Childs a little bit,
Yeah.
because what we saw at Core Classic, I think,
Mhm.
wow, okay,
For sure.
she's back right where she was leading into the Olympic trials before
Mhm.
Tokyo. And does she bring that same magic, that same confidence, that same, what I need to see, what she wants to see, forget what I want to see, what she wants to see is her from start to finish on beam, getting that posture that she talks about,
Mhm.
that posture that means I am woman, hear me roar,
Yeah.
on beam, and so confident, um, but through every skill, not just in those
Right.
moments.
Yeah.
When she sets up that series, I need to see that. I need to see her set it up with that kind of confidence and land it with that kind of confidence. And I'm pretty sure we will.
Yeah. No, I would agree to that. To be honest, I would love to see Jordan do what Jordan does best, and that is perform and do this joyful gymnastics that we're used to seeing and that we love seeing, but specifically on beam, the trust. You could tell from the very beginning of that series, she wasn't confident in, and again, I'm not trying to speculate, but from an outsider perspective, it showed. It showed that she wasn't like, I don't know, I'm having a hard time kind of finding my words of
No,
describing it, but
we've done it, Bridget. We've been on beam. So you
yeah,
can't hide those, like, we can sense it. It's not even a matter of seeing it. You can
yeah.
sense in the body language, in the setup.
It's almost like when you're standing and you're getting ready for your series and your shoulders are back, you're like, "Oh, heck yeah."
Yeah.
If your shoulders dip I'm sorry, if you start to dip forward and you start to crouch forward, that automatically is like, you have no confidence in yourself right now. And
Mhm.
that is the last thing you need to be on balance beam.
Yeah.
You gotta own the balance beam. The balance beam does not own you.
Yeah.
You own the balance beam.
There's a there's a video of Shannon Miller, and it was in team finals, or no, all around. Maybe it was all around. I can't remember, but
Mhm,
we have to find it. I actually shared it on social media,
mhm,
because this is what you have to see when before you do any difficult series, any
mhm.
series, because it's a series, okay,
Yeah.
and each thing builds on the other. Before you go, you have to commit fully to the setup, the follow through, and the finish. All
Oh,
three,
100%.
one right after the other, no matter what.
Right.
If you watch this series that Shannon did, holy God, she was on the edge of the beam. And you could see her just change one arm. Like, that's not the way you normally land, but she just committed to
Mhm.
the finish, and how she forget staying on, stayed on without any balance break at all, even though her foot's on the edge of the beam. There was a deduction. There
Right.
was a flaw, but there was no balance break at all. It
Yeah.
was phenomenal. And I was like, that's kind of not just your mindset, because everybody can say, I'm going to do that. It's actually in that moment, no matter what, even when you can, because you can tell when you're slightly off.
Yeah. Oh,
Just
yeah.
slightly off, you know what? You can do magic with your inner
Oh,
gyroscope,
yeah.
with your inner gyroscope, with your arms, with your core, with your everything, if you don't panic.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm very guilty of saying on air, like, "Oh man, what was she thinking in the middle of that skill, that anything?" And I always have to remind myself, you know exactly what she's thinking. Well, I'm off. I'm off, and I got to figure out how to stay on. Sometimes you can, sometimes and it is
Sometimes
true.
you
You
just
can,
can't.
yeah,
Sometimes you are that
yeah.
off, and it's just like it's not a matter. Oh, I think she could have if she just no. If
Mm-mm.
you're like you got to be in the ballpark.
For
You got
sure, for sure. It's almost like, when we're watching, and I know we're bringing up Beam a lot because it's
yeah,
just the easiest one to notice if someoe's off, and then when they save it, you're like, "Wow." And it's like all they did was maybe they were off to the right side, so they lifted their right shoulder higher
yeah,
to offset the I mean, it's just the tiniest little thing, and I have a feeling we're gonna see minimal what I want to see. I don't wanna say I have a feeling. I know we're gonna see minimal errors because people work in the gym on what happens if you make a mistake? What happens if your back handspring is not fully straight? How do you correct that? Because
yeah.
every skill is
You
not gonna be
follow through and
perfect.
finish.
Exactly. Exactly. You follow through and finish. And I think Jordan has absolutely the ability to do that. She does it
Mhm.
so well on floor. That
Yeah.
girl can take off for
Oh,
skills. And my ankles could never, never, they could
yeah.
never. And she just gets it because and I think it kind of goes back to she is just such a performer on
Mhm.
floor. I mean, she is one of my favorites to watch in general, but on floor, it's like you just want to sit back and watch and
Yes.
just say, "Wow."
Yeah. That's become so much a part of gymnastics, and it's why I brought up the difference between artistry and
Mhm.
then the either flaws or technical things in dance that
Mhm.
they're deductions. They're little, they're flaws, so they are deductions. But style and presentation, okay,
Mhm.
not the same. Just separate that. Style and presentation is something very unique to each athlete and something they
Mhm.
can all raise their level
Yeah.
in terms of their presentation. You're not going to go in and change your style. You've developed your style
Right.
from the time you've started gymnastics. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's just a very natural evolution that you evolve into your style, and that's what it is, or a certain piece of music brings it out, or a piece of choreography that brings it out. But when you take step foot, command the stage. It is a stage, is the way that I
Mhm.
see it. Which, by the way, I would love to see floor exercise. I know that you're going to go, what are you doing? This out of bounds stuff is just silly to me. The boundary line, I would
Oh.
rather see a state like a mat, like the floor mat, with a
Mhm.
border, and the border is just like warning track. So you don't step off
Warning.
and sprain your ankle. Like safety.
Yeah.
But this is your stage. What does it mean? I'd rather see a controlled landing and a beautiful lunge than
Mhm.
boop, 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 trying to not step out of bounds. Like, I'm sorry, that's silliness to me. And
Yeah.
a whole tenth of a point for a
Yeah,
step. That's a weird.
Kathy, we don't get to
I
make the
know we won't.
rules.
I
We
know it.
don't get to make Also, I would just like to say that, I was never one to go out of bounds on floor. I was lucky if I landed on my feet alone. So I think these athletes are just so powerful. And again, Kathy, we say this almost every podcast. We will never know what that feels like. We
I won't even know what a trampoline feels. That floor looks like a trampoline to me. I'm sorry. I'm
oh
going.
gosh.
No, I just found this floor routine. I was so happy to find. It was the first competition I ever did a pike double back in. This was back
Oh.
in 1979,
Mhm.
at the World Cup in Japan. Hard floor. I mean, I feel like I want to put a note on the YouTube thing and said, there are no springs in this
That
floor.
is insane. That is
So you cycle
insanity.
back, and then I did handspring front through to a double twist, trying to keep that in balance.
Oh
At
my
least I
gosh.
didn't have the bouncy bouncy that sent me out of bounds, but I
The
had to come
bouncy
up with
bouncy.
my own the bouncy bouncy. No, but there's a trait, like, trust me, I actually think, and I could be wrong, you can tell me. So, on this floor exercise that's very
Mhm.
bouncy,
Yeah.
what I'm seeing, and I don't know how much is a lack of development,
Mhm.
is strengthening the support leg and the feet so that you secure yourself and you can do big movement and not lose your balance because your feet are strong. Like,
Mhm.
we developed stronger feet back in my day because it was just such an important part of what was being judged and what was
Yeah.
on floor for dance and turnout, like turnout and very secure, no foot faults, no wobbling and ball. Is it more difficult on a bouncy floor? I don't know. Do you
Um,
bounce around and it's hard to keep your
I
feet
will say
secure?
you have to absorb the landing a lot more.
But that's the landing. What in dance? Like, I see people lose, I'm looking at foot faults
Oh.
just standing around. Not standing around, they're not just standing around. You know what I mean? Moving their arms, their legs, or they can't go
Mhm.
big and their feet are coming out of position. They're coming off the floor because they don't have that strength or training. I'm just wondering. That's
I
just a
mean, Kathy, they're tired. Dancing is exhausting. You lose your balance and you're just like, "Oh, I'm going down. I'm going down." The
oh,
amount of times that I made mistakes on dance and it was just like a crumble to the ground because it was just like and I
choreography
think
or the leaps? Which?
oh, I mean both. Are you
Okay.
kidding? I would like lose I was a very unique athlete and I would like lose my footing. Like prime example, there's nothing worse than when you go for a leap. Let's say you're going for a beautiful switch leap and your base leg just gives out.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It is the worst. And then your coach says, "What happened?" And you're like, "I
Yeah.
have no idea.
I mean,
Let's
sometimes that weird thing just happens, but
Oh
here,
yeah.
so what we did, and it's just not done now, is ballet training and
Yeah.
actual ballet and dance training,
Mhm.
as part of our gymnastics. We
Yeah.
had to, because that's what we tried to perfect, are those dance skills and the placement of our foot and the
Mhm.
security, and precision of our footwork, that the moment it left the floor. So, like, when I see the
Yeah.
skips and the hops into leaps, all I see are deductions. For me, they're flaws because they're flat
Yeah.
foot. They don't know how to use the turn. So when you turn out, you go toe ball heel, you don't have to do this or
Mhm.
come up with a bent leg and then have to try to straighten it, or an unpointed toe and then have to try to point it. It
Right.
naturally goes into the floor pointed and comes off the floor pointed because that's the basic of ballet. In glissades and tendus and all the things that we
Mhm.
learned. So, but this is nerdy and going into that part, but I don't know if that'll ever come back as an important,
I
but
think it will.
it brought artistry back, and these are the
Yeah.
deductions because it's not just full body movement, it's not just posture,
Mhm.
it is precise footwork.
I think also it's sometimes like, you know how on balance beam you could I mean, you see athletes grip the beam. I mean, they have the strength. That's the thing. Like, they have the strength. I think it's just also
But is it
I don't wanna
strength in
take
your
a
feet or is it core? Core and arms and butt, I mean, because you can do all that, but it goes all the way down to the feet.
right.
Too. Feet, ankles, like, that's the base down there, and then you build up from that base. But
It's a
as I
really
said,
great
these are
question.
kind of nerdy things. These are kind of foundational things, and
Well, and
we're
you
at the
could be
peak of the
right.
mountain right now, so
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think that's a good point to just say, like, in the moment here is that I do believe that it just starts at a young age.
yeah.
Learning those ballet techniques at a young age to where when you get into the competitions of elite or JO, whatever it might be, those aren't focuses, they're second nature. You don't
Yeah.
even have to think about it. So, no, I think you're onto something there. I mean, we did not do a single ballet class
Mhm.
like ever. So yeah, ballet. I actually didn't even take ballet as a child.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was too rambunctious, whatever that means.
But at least you had you had a natural, nice toe point and precision on your
Mm,
footwork and base. No, but
some would probably beg to differ, but thank you. I thought that I also had a decent toe point, but
for having no
thank you.
ballet or dance training, that's because when you have to get it in gymnastics,
Mhm.
and there are some gyms that really focus on this
Oh, yeah.
foundationally. I
Mhm.
This is what I want to put this out in the universe because a lot of
Do it,
gymnastics
Kathy.
this. So a lot of people think of form, like flawless form,
Mhm.
being the polish. Think about a beautiful piece of furniture, beautiful piece of wood that you're adding the polish on last at the end
Mhm.
to make it beautiful and shine.
Mhm.
No, it's foundational. So
Ooh.
form and polished form begins at the foundation. I would even say people are going to freak out. Condition with form. Think about it. Think about it. Because when you're fatigued or when something is hard is when usually people really lose their form.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Okay. And because it's not conditioned and it's
Mhm.
not foundational, it is an afterthought, a polish at the end. No, start building it from the beginning so that then a toe point, an ankle position, strong
Mhm.
support leg, all of those things are part of the wood, not just the
Oh,
okay.
I
Just
like
put it
it.
out there for our gymnastics people.
I
Uh,
love it.
and I think it's injury prevention too.
I would absolutely agree to that. Yes. Okay, so is there anybody else that you wanna hit on? Because
I want
we
to
need
make
to.
sure I didn't forget anybody, and
Yes, of
I don't.
course, of
I
course.
do not believe I did. I did mention Kalia Lincoln
Mhm. Yep.
because she had to petition as well,
Mhm.
but she actually got some impact points because of
Oh.
floor. She did a 14, I think she scored on floor exercise. Like she's shown that, and then winning
Yeah.
Pan Ams on
Mhm.
floor exercise. Like there's she's got people's attention. So if she
Right.
goes out there and can compete an all-around competition as she did at World Trials last year,
Mhm.
then I think she becomes part of the conversation and also part of this whole process. And this is the thing we need to remind everybody. This Olympic team, whoever
Mhm.
ends up out on the floor representing the United States, they didn't get there by themselves.
Right.
Okay. They did because of talent, hard work, the efforts of their coaches and their teams, their
Mhm.
therapists, their,
Oh, yeah. It
everything.
takes a village. It
It's
takes a
built.
village.
And it takes people that you're competing with, not
Absolutely.
competing against. I always stress that competing with all of these gymnasts, these remarkable human beings who have worked so hard to be right here are part of it. Whether they travel to Paris, whether they get named to this team, they have built the program. They have built
Mhm.
and elevated everything to the level it is and made all the gymnasts that ultimately are on that team
Mhm.
be even better.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want everybody to feel that that's not just talk. It's not just words. We're in a position, you and I are now, to talk about gymnasts in a way that we give them flowers
Yeah.
because they all deserve
Absolutely.
them. And because we know a lot of them aren't going to make this team.
Mhm.
They're not
Yeah.
in a position to make the team. And just pure numbers. We go back to the math and the numbers and
Mhm.
why I come up with a point system. So it's not just a human thing. It's not just, but they are humans. And these are
Yeah.
people who worked really, really hard. But their routines are going to be judged by numbers and their placement's going to be judged by that. And their selection is going to be determined by that. But for all of these gymnasts to have this moment where they have an opportunity to put everything out there and be the best they've ever been, ever in this moment.
Yeah.
It does make selection harder.
I think this selection, it's gonna be tight, and I am thankful I'm not on that selection committee. I am, because in a perfect world, you're like, "Okay, we're gonna have this group of 5, and then we're gonna have this group of 5." Like, you would take so many groups,
Yes.
and it that's not the way it is. I
It's why
mean,
I wore this shirt, stars. So they're all stars, but the stars have to align just right
they do.
because they're, and I'm not saying that there's this luck thing,
Mhm.
but it's also like you can only control what you can control.
Right.
You can't control how anybody else competes, how, the score, like none of that.
Mhm.
You can control your emotions, you can control your nerves, you can use those nerves, you can convert them
Mhm.
to the energy you need to focus, um, and feel really good about that.
Mhm.
But everybody else is doing the same thing.
Right.
So the dynamic is, sometimes stars will have to align just right. And
Yeah.
especially for those ones really trying to make those spots, if you're not Simone
Mhm.
right now, where you just have to be yourself, be your normal.
Mhm.
You can be normal or average. That's actually a really good thing. And it's what Jeff Graba, Jess's brother,
Mhm.
shared with me. And I think it's something that he shared with Suni as well. You just have to be your average. Think about it. If you've consistently trained,
Mhm.
and that's what you're training for in your gym before you take it on a competition floor, is that your average routine is a good routine.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
hit routine. There
Right.
may be another routine that you've done that, oh, that's the one I hope I like. That was
Mhm.
my version of perfect. But your average routine is good enough.
Mhm.
And then when you add that layer from that competition gives us, that just steps up our energy just that much more and makes it a little bit more special.
Mhm.
So easier said than done.
Of course. Of course. I think, well, I know. So for me, I mean, there are amazing athletes that are competing on the women's side, and then we're gonna get
Oh,
into the men's side, because we have got some phenomenal men competing for this Olympic team. But I'm really, really excited to see just like I talked about before, the combination of these athletes that this is, I'm really excited for Tiana. I am.
yeah,
I think she is a beautiful athlete. She kind of, I don't wanna say she came out of left field, but she really made a statement. She
no,
is making a statement, not in what I love is she's not just making a statement for Team USA, it just seems like it's for herself,
yep,
and that ultimately has led to, people saying like, "Wow."
yep,
And then Leanne, I can't wait to watch her. I feel like this meet is gonna be a little redemption for her,
yeah,
because she did not have the championship that she wanted, and
right,
she is such a perfectionist, such
yeah.
a perfectionist.
No, I'm looking at that whole group of them with Tiana in that
Mhm.
in that mix. Jocelyn,
Oh,
Leanne, Jade,
yes. Mhm.
all of them for different reasons because they come. So Jaden is an Olympic champion,
Yep.
right? And she wants to do it again. And it's so exciting to see her peaking at the
Mhm.
right time to put it all together and really make a statement
Yeah.
here at trials. Um, Leanne, having been a reserve athlete, an alternate,
Mhm.
but been to the world championships, silver medalist, like the
Yeah.
success that she has had. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Leanne in that mix,
Right.
especially doing everything all at once? Like, it's like that movie, Everything All at Once.
Mhm.
CEO of her company, someday
She's
going to bed.
superwoman.
She is superwoman. So, and her gymnastics is super.
Yeah.
So I know we're all cheering for that. And Tiana, who did not just come out of nowhere, trust me, neither did Hesley.
Yeah.
They've been working, working, working. They
Mhm.
add so much to these trials because remember what I said. This isn't just about this quad.
Right.
I hope. that all of these gymnasts see themselves also long term when you've watched Simone going for her third, when you're watching, you know, Jade and Suni trying to make an Olympic. Like, this is getting exciting. This is
Yeah.
not the end. Okay. This can be also a beginning. I see it all these ways.
Well, and just to hit on that briefly too, is it used to be looked at, you got one shot at the Olympics. I mean, and I'll be so honest here, I thought that. I would million% said 2008, it's either I'm either gonna make it or I'm not, but I didn't. I hate to admit this, but I guess I will. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't. At that point, I didn't have college in mind. I was on a one-track mind, and that was the 2008 Olympics.
Yeah.
Now, it did work out for me, and I did make it, and, you know, everything that happened afterwards, I couldn't have done without that experience and that accomplishment.
Yeah.
But I think what I love about this generation is they are looking long term. They're not thinking this is the one all be all. This is it. You know, whether that long term is in elite or in NCAA, there is, you know, I always said after 2012, not making it, I didn't even compete at trials. I got injured in warm-ups. I was devastated. Oh gosh, I was this mushy, cry mess. But the light at the end of the tunnel for me was I was going to Florida.
Yes.
I kid you not.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would be if I hadn't made that decision.
Yeah. And now you're bringing up why it was such a gift for me to have the job I had for so many years, to be able to not just watch that and enjoy that, but knowing how much you and others need it.
Yeah.
It just created an opportunity for people to, one, transition into a life, okay?
Yeah.
Have an experience that I don't have to tell you what that experience is like, to have those sisters and to have that ongoing relationship and dealing with everything together. But also to just be able to enjoy.
Oh yeah.
Again, the sport, because let's face it, it beat us up.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Beat us up
gosh.
and took so much. Well, guess what? Now it can give back to you. And it was such a gift to see you guys all get that. And yes, you were world champion and an Olympic medalist. You had all of those. Think of the gymnasts who had Olympic dreams that didn't come to pass.
Yeah.
But they get to come to college, and then it's like this whole new, beautiful experience to grow and nurture and to just come full circle. You get to come full circle, and you get to leave the sport the way you came in, kind of loving it and enjoying all of these other things.
Oh, 100%. My thing was, you know, I always wanted to end my career on my terms. I didn't want my career to end without me making that. Like, I didn't want that decision made for me. I wanted to be the one to make that decision. So that was very important to me. And I know all these athletes, whatever their future might hold, it's a very rewarding feeling being able to say, I chose that. I knew it was coming.
Role models. Think, and you're a role model. Okay. Oh gosh, yes. Are you kidding me? Yes, you are. But right now, look at what some of the gymnasts who are competing in and have been doing it so long. When you've got a Chusavitna to look up to, Becky Downey, just
oh my gosh,
like
incredible.
Kelly Black in Canada, Simone Biles, and Suni Lee. I mean, what this inspires for young gymnasts and for fans. Honestly, fans have to check themselves too and go, okay, it is not up to me. I mean, you said it yourself. Like, I'd been written off before. Absolutely. I mean, I know I was. I put myself off a couple times. I was like,
I
"Oh,
may or may not have been the one to write it off. It's fine.
no,
It's not a big deal.
yes, but I'm still coming to the gym." Yeah, but
Oh,
what am I
yeah.
doing here? No, but remember the first time you interviewed me? I said the word is grace.
Mhm.
It is something we all need. We need love, but we also need grace.
Mhm.
Give each other grace, give yourself grace
Oh, yeah.
times. And at the same time, always look for that inspiration, whether it's in
Mhm.
somebody, a role model, or I had a coach that told me it's not a bad thing when you want to live up to the expectation of, whether it's parents or your coaches or as long as it is your dream too, as long as
Mhm.
it is what you want, that's
Yeah.
healthy. And trying to live up, it's because they believe in you
Yeah.
and you want to fulfill that
Mhm.
belief, not just for them, but for you too. It's not a bad thing.
No, that
It's
was very beautifully put. I really that
it's
yes.
not doing it for somebody else, is what I'm saying.
Right. Of course. You have to do it for you. I
Oh,
mean, at the end of the day, you have to do it for you because, man, when you do it for yourself and you accomplish those goals, gosh, that's sweet. Ooh, that is a sweet feeling.
yes.
Um, Kathy, we need to talk about the men
Yep. Let's do it.
because they are
Color coded.
rocking and rolling. I think the men look better than they've ever looked in a
I
quad.
mean, I love it. I think they are on the cusp of doing something really extraordinary at
Agreed.
these Olympic Games. And you can trace it back to a few years ago when they
Mhm.
implemented the system. And at first it was like, oh my gosh, this bonus for difficulty and really trying to push difficulty that was almost beyond
Yeah.
their their ability. Okay.
Mhm.
But because you're being rewarded for it and you're pushing yourself for that reward, it's
Mhm.
paying off now because we're seeing the difficulty you need to compete against the best of the world from our men's team.
Yep.
But at the same time, because I've loved this about men's gymnastics, I think their technique and their form is as good as it's been with the elevation of difficulty. There wasn't as much loss, and I'm not quite sure why. Um,
Yeah.
because maybe it's to do 6 completely different events. Think of their events too. So that complicates their team selection process. 6 events, but they can still only pick the same number of gymnasts to fill those and ultimately thinking of team finals, getting
Oh,
your
yeah.
top 3 scores um, on each of 6 events and still having 2 good all around, but always having somebody that can step into events because it's very risky if you're going to bring a
Oh,
specialist
yeah.
who
Right.
does not do the other events if somebody
Mhm.
gets injured. So theirs is more complicated. And what I found interesting after I had done my own little point system that I
Mhm.
created for the women, when I pulled up the results of the men to do all my color coding and look at the top 3 on each event and in the all around and all that and see where it ended up, they actually do their own 10, it's called a USAG 10-point results. And they have a
Love
page
it.
that they printed out. So they're kind of like my impact points. I don't know how they get to them because I don't know their process. But my guess is maybe it's similar. Maybe it's the same. I have no idea.
It could be.
Yeah, but so when you look at the mix of these athletes, again,
Mhm.
I want 2 teams set,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
can't get it
Nope.
because when you put people that we know and the ones who have been Olympians,
Mhm.
who just missed getting a medal or who just won the medal in at the World Championships, how exciting was that? So you want
Oh,
them
yeah.
all to have this moment because they've earned it. They have all earned it. They've all pushed this program. They pushed each other to be there. And to see Brody Malone come back from what was really a catastrophic
Yeah.
injury. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was catastrophic. For him to come back, his impact points, or I don't know what they call them, 77. I mean, they're the most. He is so consistent across the board.
Mhm.
And at the same time, he's on top of 2 events.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Koi Young, oh, he is fun to watch. What a talent between him and Fred Richard. I mean, just the natural talent and exciting gymnastics
Mhm.
that they bring to the floor. And then everybody loves Yule. Like,
You can't not love Yule
no,
for what he brings
yes,
to the presentation level he brings, but also just his gymnastics is so it's not just refreshing, it's so fun to watch. I mean, I think the men right now are so incredibly fun to
yes,
watch.
yeah. Yeah, and I have some favorite events and stuff, like
Mhm.
watching Yule on parallel bars, like he's so beautiful. And landings on floor.
Mhm.
Uncanny ability to stick landings on floor. And then you start looking Shane Wiskus, Paul Judah, Danelle Wittenberg. I mean, his vault and rings,
Oh,
like, and just his story. Oh,
I'm pulling for him. I
who
am.
isn't?
I
Who
am.
isn't? We all are. And Asher
Yeah.
Hahn, who has done such great things for USA Gymnastics, for
Mhm.
everything, did not have a great meet.
Yeah.
So he's sort of he's in a hole a little bit. He's got to
Yeah.
climb out, and I we have to see what trials. And I don't know their system
Yeah.
in terms
Like,
of,
does this translate over? Like, does it all kind of
or is it fresh? I
Right, right.
That I
It's a
don't
good
know because
question.
they have more facets to
Mhm.
the gem they're cutting. Okay.
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
imagine a diamond, like they're different cuts. There are many,
Mhm.
many more facets to men's gymnastics because of the number of events and what you have to cover with the selection of 5 gymnasts.
Yeah.
So
It is crazy. I mean, to think about all the athletes competing, men's, women's, they're gonna take 5.
I know.
They're gonna take 5. There's gonna be so much joy and success and beautiful just gymnastics, and you're gonna see a lot of tears.
I know.
You're gonna see a lot of tears, some happy, some devastating, but I think what Team USA as a whole brings emotion-wise is really
Yes.
powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just make sure that we
Mhm,
celebrate as we are, everybody. Um, I think earning
mhm.
a reserve spot, an alternate spot is huge. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we know the importance of the
Oh,
alternate.
yeah.
We know how hard they train, how they have to be able to step up at a moment's notice so that everything
Mhm.
has to be ready. They have to train as if they are competing.
Yeah.
Um, and you can call it a thankless job. It's not a thankless job because we are
Yeah.
all thankful. Like the people
Mhm.
that matter, we are all thankful because we're right there in the gym with them training. Okay. So
Mhm.
it's not thankless. It may come without the spotlight,
Mhm.
the moment at the Olympic Games. We have to make sure within our sport, within our family,
Mhm.
that we celebrate that, all of them.
Yeah, I think being an alternate, no matter what the capacity is tough. It is. I mean, it is tough, but I know from my experience, I was very fortunate to look at it not as woe is me, poor me, I'm the alternate. It put a fire in me.
Mm-hmm.
And it really lit a fire in me, and I think we're seeing more athletes who are on the reserve that are in that alternate position, they're being celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that we are doing a very good job, and I'm sure someone out there is gonna be like, "Actually, we're not," but I believe we are. Coming from where we were at,
Oh, yes.
I 100% believe that we are as a whole, as a gymnastics community, people don't look at an alternate as a negative because
No,
you shouldn't.
no,
You shouldn't.
No.
And I think there was a light on it. There was a little black cloud sometimes floating over it, and it never made sense.
Yeah. So I follow track and field a lot because my son was a pole vaulter, and I've always just loved track and field. And I know a lot of track and field athletes. And sometimes when you watch the broadcasts, especially at trials, 4th place, that's the worst possible position. And I'm sitting there going, okay, first of all, there's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, like, shall I go on all the way down, like at an Olympic trials? No, sometimes 4th can be a heartbreaking experience because you've come so close.
Right.
Okay. But you don't know that person, if they just had a personal best,
right,
a personal record, did everything humanly possible with every ounce of their talent and preparation and finished 4th, that's a win. That's a success. That is a personal success. Let's focus on that and recognize the difference. If it is somebody who fully anticipated qualifying in those spots, and for whatever reason, a fluke illness or an injury or a weird thing happened, or just a fluke weird fall or something, and they end up in that position, it's heartbreaking. It's not the worst place imaginable.
Yeah.
It is heartbreaking. Let's recognize that, but the difference, and allow the athlete to define their own success, not assume we know what that definition or what that success was or wasn't.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
exactly. Well, Kathy, we covered a lot today. I hope everyone can walk into Olympic trials or watch Olympic trials feeling really good about all the info you gave them. But as always, you always give the people a piece of advice. It's actually become my favorite part of the episode. I love talking with you every week, Kathy, but your words of advice, I take it to heart, and I have a good week after we record because of your pieces of advice that you give.
My piece of advice is the reminder you'll notice that when I wish people, sometimes I say Godspeed, sometimes I wish them the best of luck, good energy, and obviously health. But in this moment, may everything be at peace. Their mind, their body, let it meet and be able to be at their best in that moment, and know that everybody's behind them. And for everybody watching, just keep the energy positive. Sometimes it's funny. I listen to my husband sometimes when we watch basketball. We would say, she needs to do this, or why don't I? And I'm like, would you stay positive? Stay positive. Like, he goes, they're not hearing me. They're not. I go, but I'm hearing you. I'm an athlete. I know what it feels like. And the thought if somebody's up there, oh, you didn't fight for that, or you didn't do that, or you need to do. Trust me, they're doing everything they can in that moment. It's not as easy as it looks. Just be there for them, bring positive energy.
That wraps up today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. This is Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan, the Olympic special. I am your host, Bridget Sloan. Please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, because we will be dropping new episodes each week. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Let's make some good life choices out there, and don't forget to be awesome. Bye, guys.